Welcome to the 11th presentation of the State Legislative Committee Champion of State Justice Reform Award ceremony. My name is Mike Iacopino. I am the co-chair of the State Legislative Committee. And once again, this year, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to announce this award. And actually, this is like the favorite part of my job of being the co-chair of the committee. I've been doing this for the last 11 years, and we have bestowed this award on all sorts of wonderful people who join in our fight to make sure that in our state systems, we truly have a criminal justice system and not just a criminal system. We've given this award to lobbyists, to practitioners, to death penalty advocates, to many different players in our system who fight every day alongside with us to make our state court systems, our state justice systems better, fairer, and less racist. And we do that together. We stand shoulder to shoulder, and that's why we give this award every year. And this year in particular, I am very pleased to give this award, to bestow the award upon three gentlemen who, in an amazingly short amount of time, made substantial inroads into the criminal justice system in Illinois. This year, the Champion of State Criminal Justice Reform Award goes to Representative Justin Slaughter, Senator Robert Peters, and Senator Elgie Sims of all of the Illinois legislature. These men were the sponsors and the main advocates of HB 3653, also known in Illinois as the Safe P Act. This is an act that has taken many of our goals and lumped them together into a bill that got through the Illinois legislature and was signed by their governor in record time, if you ask me. Since the George Floyd murder, various state legislatures around the country have been dawdling, if you will, in trying to come up with reforms, trying to get reforms through. But it seems that in every state legislature, these things have just died, but not in Illinois, and not in Illinois because of Representative Slaughter, Senator Peters, and Senator Sims. The Safety Act in Illinois does four very important things. Number one, it ends cash bail. In many states, that's 3, 4, 5 sessions of the legislature that take to even get near that. Not in Illinois. They did this in a remarkable amount of time. They reformed their pretrial system. No longer do wealthy people get to be free and poor people detained on a pretrial basis. The bill also contains substantial sentencing and prison reforms. It reforms the felony murder charge in Illinois. It requires non-incarcerative community supervision sentences for some lower level offenses, get the people out of the cages and allow them to rehabilitate at home with their families and their loved ones. Number three, this bill contains so much police reform that it's the most police reform that I've seen in any bill across the legislature. Number one, requires certification and a decertification process for bad police officers. Number two, requires body cameras. Number three, has reformed crowd control techniques and tactics that the police can use when confronted with crowd situations. Number four, it required mental health and de-escalation training, and a whole host of other transparency and accountability requirements on our police officers. That's how we get justice back in our criminal justice system. And it's for that reason that I am very proud to be able to bestow this award on behalf of the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers to Justin Slaughter, Robert Peters, and Elgie Sims for their outstanding work as legislators in the Illinois legislature.
Let me first say thank you so much to the National Association for Criminal Defense Lawyers. Let me start off very quickly about who I am and where I come from. So I represent the south side of Chicago, stretching just from downtown all the way along the lakefront to the Indiana border. My biological mom was addicted to drugs during Ronald Reagan's war on drugs, and I was born deaf with a speech impediment. And I was adopted by a civil rights lawyer slash criminal defense attorney who played a vital role in sort of shaping me and how I should view my adoption and view my life. And so when I think about the work that I've done as an organizer before I was a state senator and as a state senator, I think about tying it to how I got here from my birth and my upbringing by my father. So winning this award means a lot to me personally. The other part is that I'm 35, 36 years old. So for over 40 years, we've been practicing the same ways of public safety, and it's not working for people. And we saw it sort of come to a head in 2020, and that led to a crisis that was on top of an economic crisis, a crisis on top of a public health crisis. And when we think about these crises, it's about what we do coming out of them, how we're going to shape the world. And so passing the Safety Act, and for me, pieces of that is ending cash bail, something I've been organizing on for 5-6 years now, is something I think is historic and a model for the rest of the country. Because what we know is that public safety, real public safety, is giving people a good school, a good job, a good life, investment in them and that community. And what we know is the status quo on public safety is not doing what it needs to do to protect us, and to look out for us, to invest in us. And so as we come out of this, after the passage of the Safety Act, after the organizing that's been done for decades, I am grateful for this award, and I'm hopeful that we can continue to build on this, not just in Illinois, but throughout the country. And we don't let fear mongering and scare tactics of the tough on crime status quo to bring us down and to stop our momentum. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And let's keep fighting.
Good afternoon. It's great to be with you virtually today. I am Illinois State Representative Justin Slaughter. Thank you so very much for this Champion of State Criminal Justice Reform Award. I am extremely grateful and honored to receive this award, not just because it recognizes critical efforts to reform our criminal justice system, but because the award is coming from the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. I'd like to take this moment just to thank and commend the NACDL for their steadfast dedication to Black and Brown communities across our nation, and for their commitment in advancing criminal justice reform throughout the legal profession and in our court systems. As our nation continues to grapple with police reform, mass incarceration, and violence reduction, it has become ever more vital that we go from protests to progress. Protests to progress. Here in Illinois, as we address systemic racism in our criminal justice system, that has been our mantra. In passing our historical Safety Act legislation, our state is going from protesting for change to seeing, realizing, and accomplishing change. The Safety Act is a national model that is a bold, comprehensive, transformative initiative that not only puts forth police reforms in the areas of crisis intervention, use of force, transparency, accountability, oversight and enforcement, detainment, and officer wellness, but also advances prison and sentencing reforms, most notably ending the punitive racist practice of cash bail. The efforts around the Safety Act have also led us to recently pass the Reimagined Public Safety Act, which greatly enhances our violence prevention and community revitalization efforts. So you can see, we're very proud and excited that we have created a protest to progress movement. Again, thank you for this award, and it's important to note that our advocacy is not done. Whether it's here in Illinois or across the country, we have more work to do to rid this nation of systemic racism. I look forward to working with you and the NACDL. Thank you so very much.
Hello, this is State Senator Elgie, and I proudly serve the people of Illinois' 17th Legislative District. First, let me thank the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers for your work fighting to protect constitutional principles and standing up for individuals and their rights. Secondly, let me thank you for the honor of receiving the prestigious Champion of State Criminal Justice Reform Award, which recognizes our efforts here in Illinois to reimagine our criminal justice system through, among other things, the passage of the SAFE-T Act, a comprehensive criminal justice reform measure which fundamentally changes the criminal justice system here in Illinois. I am honored to join, along with my fellow honorees, the list of past award recipients, which include death penalty reform advocates, juvenile justice reform advocates, organizations advocating for returning citizens, and others diligently fighting for equal justice under the law. The SAFE-T Act reimagines Illinois criminal justice system and serves as an example to others of the possibilities that equity in our criminal justice will provide for us all. Throughout my legislative career, I have fought to reform Illinois' criminal justice system because I know that each of us has a responsibility to future generations to transform our criminal justice system into one which seeks to remove systemic inequities, but one that recognizes that equity and justice must be our guiding principles. As each of us continues to fight for equity and justice, I will leave you with the words of one of my personal legal idols, the icon and warrior, the late, great former Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall, who once said, "Do what you think is right and let the law catch up." Again, thank you for this tremendous honor, and keep fighting for the voiceless and towards a more perfect union. Here's to a wonderful event, and again, thank you for this tremendous honor.